Friends, it's Laura the Teach. Today we're going to do a lesson on two different things, most and least, or greater or lesser. So the paper that I have in front of me today says most and least. Most means more. You have more of something. Least means less. You don't have as much. So we're going to look at this paper and we're going to work on this together to decide which is more and which is least. Let me snap my pen here. So if we look at the top, they've done this one for us, okay? We have eyes that we're comparing. And one thing that I like to do is I like to count the objects out and look at the numbers as well as the picture. So it wants us to look at which of these shows most. So if we count these eyes, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm going to write 6 right next to that. Then the next one, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, when we're trying to decide which number is more or which number is least, I think of your birthday. Your very first birthday, you turn 1. Then your next birthday, you turn 2. So if you're counting, each year you get older, you add another number to your age. So if I'm counting and starting at 1, the number I come to first is going to be the number that's smallest or least. So 1, 2, 3, 4, there's the number 4. There are 4 eyes. So 4 is the smallest or the least amount. After 4 comes 5. Here's 5. So 5 is in the middle. It's more than 4. But after 5 comes 6. 6 is more than 5. So 4 is the least. 5 is more than 4, but it's less than 6. So 6 shows the most in this case. And as you can see, they circled it. All right, so let's look at the next one. We've got some little ladybugs. So we have 1, 2, 3 ladybugs. We have 2 ladybugs. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4 ladybugs. Now again, remember, if you're counting, you start with the number 1. Then after 1 comes 2. So 2 is the less, the least, the smallest. Those are all names that we can use to describe the smallest number. After 2 comes the number 3. Now 3 is more than 2. It's 1 more than 2. But it's still not the biggest number, the number that has most. In this case, 4 comes after 3. And if we look at the pictures, we have 2, 3, 4. So looking at the number that's the most, we're going to actually look at the number as well as the picture. So in this case, 4 is the most, the greater number. Now we have some stars and they are in a pattern. Just by looking at it, it might be difficult to tell which one has the most. Now this one we can see just by looking at it doesn't have as much as these two. But because they're all in different patterns, we aren't quite sure if this or this has the most. So let's count them. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 here. And when I have a lot of pieces like this, I make a little mark on them as I count, just so I don't recount them again. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 right there. And see how I mark them all? And here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, see now, if I had looked at that just with my eye, I would have thought that that had more. So as we're counting, we start at 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 I come to 9 first, so that's the smallest number, or the picture that has the least amount of stars. After 9 comes 10. 10 is more than 9, but it is less than 11. 11 is the greatest, or the picture with the most in this case. Now we have apples. So if we count our apples, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 1, 2, 3. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now this one, just by looking at it, it's probably a little easier to tell which one has most. We can see there's only 3 here. We can see that there's a little more, okay, 2 more, but we can see there's a lot more here. So in this case, it was the easiest to tell which one had the most, and that would be the number 7. Now we want to look at the one that has least, or the smallest amount. And again, this one, and this one, well, I would assume that this was the most because it's 2 rows. This only has 2 rows, but it's got less. And this has 2 rows, but it's smaller. So let's count. I can count up and down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we know that's a really big number. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, so I knew that this one was probably the most, but we want the one who has the least. And if we're counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8 we come to first. 8 is the smallest number of the 3 numbers. So 8 is the picture that has the least amount of the objects in the group. Now we've got little bows. So we can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now we want the smallest number, the least amount. So when we're counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 is the first number we come to. It's the smallest of the other numbers. So 4 is the picture that has the least amount of bows in it. Now we've got, it looks like seashells, I think. Oh no, I think it's the planet Saturn. Kind of hard to tell sometimes in these pages. Now again, there are 2 rows. This row looks smaller, this row looks a little bigger, and this row looks the biggest, but let's count to make sure. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 right there. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So when we're counting, which one do you think we come to first? Do we come to 10, 11, or 12 first? Good job. We come to 10 first. So 10 is the picture that has the least amount of Saturns in them. Now we're going to look at tigers or cats, tiger cats. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. We've got 1, 2, 3 there. And then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So which number will we come to first? Will we come to 5, 3, or 6 first when we count? Good job. We'll come to 3 first. So 3 has the least amount of cats in the picture. So when you're counting and you're comparing greater than or less than, most or least, greater or lesser, okay, all terms to describe more or less, bigger amount or smaller amount. Make sure you're thinking of those birth dates. And when you turn another year, you add another number. The number gets bigger. And so the smallest number is the number you would come to first when you're counting. Good job. We'll practice this again sometime.